There are many challenges to living in a multicultural society. One of them is negative stereotypes. A stereotype is an oversimplified version of a person or a group. Instead of being open to a person or a group, a stereotypical view is based on the reputation of that person or group. Another challenge is what's called producerism. Producerism is to assign a value to a certain ethnic group or class based on their perceived productivity or contribution to society. It creates a competition where some minorities are seen as hardworking and valuable to society, while some are seen as freeloaders, coasting on the hard work of others. For example, migrant workers from Latin America contribute enormously to America, but their contribution is rarely given the respect it deserves. Latinos, for example, are the backbone of the food industry, working on farms and in slaughterhouses, or providing cheap services like working as nannies and gardeners or mechanics. Asians, on the other hand, are often held up as model immigrants whose contribution to the United States is placed at a higher value. Is this really fair towards Latin Americans? Stereotypes and producerism lead to what we can call the social status of minority groups. Social status is the reputation or prestige that one group has in the eyes of the rest of society. Native Americans and Latinos are examples of immigrant groups that have often struggled to get their social status recognized. But Latinos are key to America's future, it seems. Since the Immigration Act of 1965, Latinos and Asians have been the fastest growing minority group in the United States. Due to immigration and high birth rates, most predict that whites will be in the minority by 2050. And this changing face of America has, in the eyes of some, particularly conservative Americans, produced fears and calls for closing Americans' borders again. It has also placed an urgency to figure out what it actually means to be an American. A traditional view has been that if you believe in and respect the Constitution, you are an American, no matter your background. This is called constitutional nationalism. However, others reject this view and claim an ethnic nationalism, where you have to be born in America to be American, or that only the older Euro-Americans are the real Americans. More troubling still has been the rise in what we call white nationalism, which is the belief that America should be a country based exclusively on white races. These groups reject multiculturalism and want to live in segregated white communities. And although they are few in number, like the Ku Klux Klan, they are still proudly maintaining their vision of an all-white America. One effort to help minorities in America has been the so-called affirmative action programs. Examples of this can be seen in college application quotas, where colleges have to admit a certain percentage of minority students, or in hiring practices where a business will prefer a minority candidate for a job. Now, critics have pointed out that these forms of special treatment betray certain important American ideals of hard work and equal opportunity. Some have also noted that whites are also poor and disadvantage in America, so white poverty goes underreported. For example, America's poorest district is the predominantly white Appalachian region. This shows the dilemma of the United States between, on the one hand, acknowledging that there are some disadvantaged minority groups that need to catch a break, but avoiding the whole country from descending into a fight between competing cultures and groups, where each group is claiming the right to special treatment. America probably needs to get back to a common vision of what it means to be American, that can unite the people instead of divide the people. For as Abraham Lincoln said before the Civil War broke out, a house divided against itself cannot stand.